Welcome, everyone, to Look Who's Talking. It's a new podcast, and I'm your host, Carol DiOrio. We have a wide variety of guests, mostly the people who push us forward and people who try really hard to make Long Island the best possible place it can be. We are, by the way, sponsored by the Culca Group, and what's important is we are in a political season. So it is fitting that my guest today has started his campaign to become Suffolk County Executive. He is Dave Calone. He's a Democrat. He's never held public office before, but he sure has been very busy. So, welcome.
Thank you, Carol. Thanks for having me, and it's great to be with you.
Good. So tell me, why do you want to become Suffolk County Executive? Some people would say that's a thankless kind of job. You have to please so many people. Why do you want the job?
Well, I think it's really, Suffolk County is sort of at this crossroads where we have great opportunity in front of us, and I'm excited about what we can do as a county to build our economy, to protect our environment, and to keep our people safe. And given my background as someone who comes from more of the private sector and the law enforcement world, I think my skills are well suited to the challenges we have in front of us as a county.
You're a no-nonsense kind of guy. So tell us about, you were a federal prosecutor and a state prosecutor?
Yeah, started my career as a federal prosecutor after graduating from law school, and I went to the Justice Department. Worked out of Washington, D.C., but traveled all around the world investigating and prosecuting cases, and was involved in international economic crime investigations, and then after 9/11 helped prosecute one of the al-Qaeda terrorists who was involved in some of the planning for the 9/11 attacks.
Oh, wow. So you really were busy. I wasn't just joking. Wow. Yeah. And then you became a state prosecutor after that?
My wife and I moved back up to New York State, became a special assistant attorney general, and was involved in prosecuting a healthcare organization that was ripping off both taxpayers and patients. And we got the largest recovery for taxpayers in New York State history at the time. Over $70 million recovered for the taxpayers in New York from the case that I helped lead.
Nice.
Yeah.
Now, locally, you've been busy as well. Chairman of the Suffolk County Planning Commission. What kind of things did you do for that?
Yeah, so I served for about 8 years as chair of the Planning Commission for Suffolk County. And the Planning Commission for Suffolk County is probably one of the most influential non-elected positions in the county. It involved our land use all the way from Melville to Montauk. Big picture issues, whether it's water quality, transportation, housing, all those kinds of issues, and having a say in those and helping to lead us forward. One of the things I'm most proud about was that I helped win for Suffolk County a National Association of Counties Innovation Award for our work in cutting red tape when it came to putting solar panels on people's roofs. So the reason that happened was solar panels started becoming a thing. There started being a lot of federal incentives for people to put them on the roofs about 10 years ago. And the solar installers came to me. They said every town is coming up with its own process, its own permitting system for approving these to go on the roofs. And they said they're killing the industry because every town has a different setup. I said, well, renewable energy is critical for our future. It saves money, et cetera. We have to solve this. So I brought together all 10 towns in Suffolk County and most of our villages. We have 32 villages in Suffolk County. And we got everyone on the same process, the same form, and we totally cut the red tape and allowed a sort of a boom in solar panel installation here in Suffolk County. And that was nationally recognized. So Suffolk County won for that year one of the National Association of Counties awards. And I got asked to travel to Chicago to speak at a conference about how we cut red tape, and I said, I think I may be the only person ever from Suffolk County to go somewhere else and teach them how we cut red tape. But that's the kind of innovation and I think new ideas we need to bring to government to make it more efficient and to move forward the things that matter for our region.
And that's so important. People get very frustrated at the thought, oh, I have to deal with the government or I have to deal with the paperwork. That could really stymie people, and they go, forget it.
Yeah, and that holds back economic innovation, it holds back growth, it holds back job creation, and in this particular case that I'm talking about, it held back us moving to a more renewable, less carbon impacted environment. And so I also have a private sector background. So after I left being in law enforcement, I went to the private sector, and been in the private sector for the last 15 years as my day job of helping to start and grow companies here on Long Island and around the country. And so I think having that background as well is important because it helps kind of bring sort of that outside the box thinking about things more from a business perspective, which I think has been something that hasn't happened here in government in a long time.
Right. We always associate government with waste, and anybody who can streamline that and rein in the money would be good. Now, I want to talk about the issues, and we're going to do that after we take a break. But first, before we go to the break, for you to do this, be a federal prosecutor, state prosecutor, then work in the private sector. You have to have a strong family backing you up. Tell me about that.
Oh, sure. Thanks. I'm blessed to have a wonderful, wonderful family. I grew up here in Suffolk County, and now my wife and I are raising our 3 kids here. We have one who just graduated from high school, one who's in high school, and one who's just starting junior high. And my wife, who we met in law school actually, but she's has in her second career become a Presbyterian minister. And she's now heads up the what's called the Presbytery of Long Island, which is like the diocese, helping to oversee all the churches, all the Presbyterian churches in Suffolk County and Nassau County. There's about 50 some odd of them, so she does that now.
So she's busy herself.
She's very busy herself.
Okay. We're going to talk more with Dave Calone about his run for Suffolk County Executive, but we're going to take a break. We are sponsored by the Colco Group. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Look Who's Talking. I'm your host, Carol Dioria, and I have a special guest today. He is Dave Calone. He is running for Suffolk County Executive on the Democratic line. He is a very busy person, and we're going to be talking about the issues now. What do you see as the issue that affects Suffolk County residents the most?
Well, I think first and foremost, people want to know that they are safe and that they feel safe. And so for me, that's a big reason why I'm running, because I want to make sure we're protecting people. And there's never been a county executive who has been a prosecutor. There's actually never been a county executive who has a business background either, and I'm both of those things. So both of those are really important, making sure we're safe and making sure we have opportunity for our families and they can afford to live here.
Right, that's a big deal. The taxes, whether it's Nassau County or Suffolk County, they're very high. And it's really dependent on the residential. The homeowners are footing the bill.
Yeah.
So how are you going to get more commercial businesses to come here and maybe relieve some of that tax burden?
Yeah. So we have I think, a huge opportunity here to grow our economy, and that will, help reduce the tax burden. I think it starts actually with helping to figure out, making sure that government is as efficient as possible. And I bring, obviously, kind of a private sector background, looking at budgets and understanding how organizations work. I'm a technology person. I'm a co-inventor on 19 patents related to internet technology. But basically, we need to help upgrade our technology as a government to make it more efficient. But then we also need to grow our economy to help reduce the burden as well. So it's both a cost side and a dividing out among a broader base side in terms of our taxes. So the way I'd like to do that is actually to focus on growing businesses here and helping them start. So as I said, I'll be the first person ever from a business background to be county executive. And so I've been someone who started a bunch of businesses, and in fact, that runs in my family. My grandfather opened one of the first Italian delis here in Suffolk County, moved out from Brooklyn, and moved and created his own small business here in Suffolk County. This is back late 50s, early 60s.
It's wonderful. I love that story.
Yeah. And so that small business is kind of in my DNA in more ways than one, and not just my Italian heritage, but just sort of who we are as a family. And so I've been excited to sort of continue his legacy of starting businesses here on Long Island and elsewhere around the country. I've also been involved in helping other people start their own small businesses, and that I think is key, because that's what we need to do. We need more small businesses here that are growing. 80 or 90% of our workers work in small business, so we need more of them.
All right, but why should they come here?
Well, I think, first of all...
What does Suffolk offer that maybe they can't get elsewhere?
So we have a tremendous workforce. So one of the key to this is making sure that we have a workforce that's ready for the next generation of jobs. And that means working with our community college. We have a great community college here in Suffolk County. We need to make sure that we're connecting better the college with the job opportunities. So we have companies that want to hire people and need to hire people. As someone who's been involved in businesses, in many businesses for a long time, it's our people that are our most important thing. And so also working with our labor unions to make sure that we're training people for the next generation of jobs is critically important. But in addition to getting businesses to come here, we need to help them grow here and people make it easier for people to start their own small business here. And so I actually want to make it free to start a small business here in Suffolk County. And I want to create...
No fee?
Yeah, we can help them reimburse or waive that fee and make it easier. We want to be the place where people come to start their business, where they would say, hey, where in New York State can I start a business? Suffolk County is the place where I want to start that business.
Okay.
We need to be friendly and supportive that way. The other thing we can do as a county is create a kind of a small business success center, so small businesses have a place to go to get their basic questions answered. How do I get financing? How do I grow? Those kinds of things. The county doesn't do that right now, but we should. And I've been really involved in the veterans community and helping our veterans start their own businesses. So I, with a couple of friends, started something called Patriot Boot Camp, which is a national not-for-profit that helped active duty service members and veterans start their own businesses. And so we put together a 3-day program. We've now had over 1,000 veterans across the country go through that program. And we recently merged into DAV, which is Disabled American Veterans, and I now serve for DAV. I'm the co-chair of their National Veterans Entrepreneurship Council. But we have a lot of veterans in Suffolk County who could and should be small business owners and job creators if they're given the support.
It's a huge group of people who have specific skills that they had in the military. If we can fine-tune that and convert those skills into something that can make money, that would be great.
Actually, and create money for themselves, create jobs for themselves and other people. And I'm actually working with the Suffolk Alliance of Chambers now. We've put together a veterans committee to help support our veterans, particularly our wounded service members, in supporting them, honoring them, and also giving them pathways to jobs and small business creation.
You mentioned that you have patents on certain internet things.
Yeah.
One of the big problems under Calone has been cybersecurity.
Yep.
They had that big leak. Can you address that?
Yeah, I mean, it's something we deal with all of the companies I'm involved with, a lot of the organizations I'm involved with. So cybersecurity obviously critically important going forward. We need to make sure we have cyber insurance. All my companies have of a significant size have cyber insurance. What that does is make sure that you're insured if something bad happens. But the insurance companies, they don't want you to have anything bad happen. They help keep you up to date with the latest threats. That's something Suffolk County didn't have. We also need to make sure that we are using the cloud. So the cloud-based architecture and infrastructure is far more secure because they have people working on this. Amazon and Microsoft and all the cloud hosting companies have people working on this 24/7. We need to make sure that we're actually using the cloud-based systems more than the in-office based systems. In fact, the Fire Rescue and Emergency Services in Suffolk, which is one of the divisions within Suffolk County, they had started moving things to the cloud before that attack happened, and they were able to have a lot more functionality because the stuff that was in the cloud, their data that was in the cloud, was protected.
Right. I mean, the internet is here. We need to make the most of it because, but that's what's helpful because you're young and you're forward thinking.
Yeah.
Okay.
Appreciate that.
We have so much more we can talk about, but we're really running out of time. So I think you're going to have to come back.
All right. I look forward to that, Carol. Thanks for having me.
You've been watching Look Who's Talking, a brand new podcast sponsored by the Colca Group. I'm your host, Carol Dioria, and we hope to see you next time.
Yep. We'll see you on November 7th, Election Day.
Right.